Gulf countries are fighting for survival. They face an unprecedented economic crisis, a consequence of the pandemic and low oil prices. The IMF expects Gulf economies to shrink by more than 7% this year. Shiny skyscrapers and sprawling shopping malls could be remnants of a prosperous past. Oil was once the golden goose, but not anymore.
The Wuhan virus has hit Gulf economies the worst. Oil prices slipped. Highly skilled expats are leaving. And debt is rising. The virus outbreak has literally left these countries in the desert. They had created an economic oasis, largely reliant on oil. Now that oasis has turned into a mirage. The IMF has made a bleak prediction for the Gulf Cooperation Council countries. This includes 6 Arab states: Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. The IMF expects these economies to shrink by 7.6% this year. The fall will be across sectors, oil and non-oil. But the biggest impact will be felt in oil revenues. The drop in prices this year has caused a loss of over $10 billion. By the end of 2020, this could cross $20 billion. Before the pandemic, oil was selling at $75 per barrel. Right now, it's at $40 per barrel. At this price, the world's largest oil exporter, Saudi Arabia, can't sustain its economy. It faces 6.8% decline in its GDP. State-run oil explorer Saudi Aramco has been hit. Profits fell by 25%. The lockdown cut demand. OPEC decided to cut oil output. Aramco had to follow suit. To reduce costs and protect profits, the company laid off 500 people, mostly expats. This is symptomatic of what's happening to other GCC countries as well. Foreign workers are being sent home. Expats make up close to half the population in some Gulf countries. They are the ones who build giant skyscrapers and shiny shopping malls, and run the financial markets, banks, and hospitals. The GCC countries are highly reliant on the expatriate population. By the time the pandemic ends, over 4 million expats would have left. That's approximately 10% of the GCC's total population. And the local population is not skilled enough to fill the gap. What are these countries doing to plug the gaps? Announcing relief packages as big as 2 to 3% of the GDP. 6 countries together have set aside over $50 billion. What about government welfare scheme? Most of these countries are already deep in debt. The debt taken to build sparkling cities. The debt they hoped to repay with petrodollars. Now debt is piling up, over $300 billion and counting. Oil prices will remain sticky for a while, and non-oil industries are collapsing too. Travel and tourism sector will decline by 7.4% in 2020, and entertainment and media by 5.6%. The pandemic has temporarily put a halt on economic reforms, and a second wave looms. And oil offers no security against the global economic storms.